I found my 7-year-old son, Tyler, sobbing into his pillow, clutching his favorite stuffed dinosaur, while watching his step-siblings pack brand-new Disney merchandise into their suitcases. My mother, Angela, and her husband, Harold, had just announced a $1,000 family vacation to Disney World that included everyone except Tyler. When I asked why my son was excluded, Harold looked me straight in the eye and said those words that shattered everything I thought I knew about our family. Step-grandkids don't count for real family traditions, he declared, because there simply wasn't enough room for outsiders on trips, meant for blood relatives only. Standing in Tyler's doorway, watching him try to muffle his tears, I felt something cold settle in my chest. For 5 years, I had been sending my mother $3,000 every single month to help support her new life with Harold. After my father passed away when I was 22, I built my consulting business from nothing into something substantial. Every month, without fail, I transferred that money believing I was investing in a loving environment where Tyler would feel welcomed and cherished after my divorce left him shuffling between 2 broken homes. That money had transformed Angela and Harold's existence completely. Their 4-bedroom colonial house in the suburbs with its manicured lawn and 3-car garage existed because of my contributions. The silver Lexus SUV sitting in their driveway bore payments I helped cover. Their granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, and the finished basement where Harold hosted his poker nights all came from my consistent support. I had calculated that over 5 years, my contributions totaled more than $180,000 in support for what I believed was our extended family unit. Initially, Tyler had been included in everything. Birthday parties where Harold would ruffle his hair and call him Champ. Christmas mornings where presents under their tree matched what Patricia's 3 biological children received. Summer barbecues, where Tyler played in their backyard pool alongside his step-cousins, while Harold grilled burgers and told jokes that made everyone laugh. For the first 2 years, it felt like we had successfully created the blended family I dreamed of giving Tyler after his mother moved across the country for her new job. The transformation began subtly during Harold's 3rd year of marriage to my mother. Tyler's assigned seat at Sunday dinners gradually shifted from beside Harold to the far end of their mahogany dining table near the kitchen entrance. Family photographs displayed on their living room mantel slowly featured fewer images, including Tyler's smiling face. Holiday gift exchanges became noticeably uneven, with Tyler receiving practical items like thermal underwear and school notebooks, while Harold's biological grandchildren unwrapped Nintendo gaming systems and Air Jordan sneakers. When I mentioned these growing discrepancies to Angela during private conversations, she consistently reassured me that I was overthinking normal family dynamics. She promised that Tyler was loved equally and that any perceived differences resulted from innocent oversights rather than deliberate discrimination. Angela insisted that blended families required patience and understanding as relationships developed naturally over time. Summer vacation planning revealed the first major exclusion that should have warned me about deeper problems. Patricia's 3 children, ages 8, 10, and 12, spent weeks researching theme parks and planning a trip to Cedar Point Amusement Park in Ohio. Tyler listened eagerly to every conversation about roller coasters and water rides, assuming he would participate in what sounded like an incredible family adventure. Harold announced casually that hotel reservations accommodated only 6 people, and that Tyler would spend that weekend with neighbors instead. The Disney World announcement represented a massive escalation in both expense and exclusion that eliminated any remaining doubt about Tyler's status in their family hierarchy. Patricia's children had been planning for months, researching character dining experiences and premium park passes that would cost more than most families spend on annual vacations. Angela showed me detailed itineraries featuring luxury resort accommodations, first-class dining reservations, and exclusive attraction access that demonstrated extraordinary financial commitment to this trip. Tyler had participated in every excited planning conversation, offering suggestions about rides and attractions he wanted to experience. He drew pictures of himself meeting Mickey Mouse and riding Space Mountain, while his step-cousins discussed matching family t-shirts and coordinated outfits for their magical week together. The announcement that 7 people exceeded accommodation limits and Tyler would remain home with neighbors crushed his innocent expectations completely. I called my mother that evening, hoping rational discussion might resolve what seemed like an obvious oversight in family planning. Angela answered cheerfully, discussing final trip preparations, until I explained how devastated Tyler felt about being excluded from what clearly represented the family vacation of a lifetime. Her tone shifted immediately as she transferred the call to Harold, who eliminated any remaining ambiguity about their position regarding Tyler's place in family decisions. "Nick, we appreciate your monthly contributions, but that money doesn't buy Tyler equal treatment in our family traditions." Harold stated with chilling directness that revealed years of hidden resentment. "Blood family comes first in important decisions like major vacations. Your financial support helps with general household expenses." "Sure, but it doesn't make Tyler one of our real grandchildren. We've been using your contributions specifically for actual family members, and Tyler was never considered part of our inner circle for special events like this Disney trip." The telephone line went silent as Harold's words registered in my shocked mind. 5 years of believing my financial support was building Tyler's secure place in a loving extended family crumbled in 30 seconds of brutal honesty. Harold had confirmed that my son was nothing more than a tolerated outsider whose presence they endured in exchange for my monthly payments. Tyler's exclusion wasn't an oversight or accommodation issue requiring creative solutions. It was deliberate discrimination funded by the very money I sent, believing it would prevent exactly this kind of heartbreaking treatment. Harold continued explaining their perspective with matter-of-fact cruelty that revealed how thoroughly they had compartmentalized our financial relationship from any genuine family obligations. "Your money helps Angela maintain this house and lifestyle, which benefits everyone including Tyler when he visits. But major family experiences like Disney World are reserved for children who share our actual blood connections. Tyler gets plenty of benefits from living in a nice neighborhood and having access to our pool and game room when he stays here." I hung up the phone feeling physically sick as the scope of their deception became clear. They had been taking my money while systematically excluding Tyler from the family experiences that money made possible. Every dollar I sent, believing I was securing Tyler's emotional well-being, had actually funded a 2-tier system where he would always be the excluded outsider, watching more valued children enjoy privileges his father's generosity provided. Harold's blunt admission about Tyler's expendable status left me staring at my disconnected phone long after he hung up. My mind raced through years of family interactions, reframing moments I had interpreted as love and inclusion through the harsh lens of this new understanding. Had Tyler always been the unwanted outsider, I was too hopeful to recognize I needed concrete evidence about how my money had actually been spent versus the family unity I thought I was purchasing with monthly contributions. The next morning, I called Derek Sullivan, my accountant friend, who had helped me structure business finances since I started consulting 6 years earlier. Derek understood family financial dynamics from both personal experience and professional expertise, working with divorced clients, navigating complex support arrangements. He arrived at my office with his laptop and professional determination to uncover the truth about how Angela and Harold had managed my generous contributions over 5 years. Derek accessed bank statements and shared family accounts through estate planning arrangements established after my father's death. These legal documents had seemed like prudent financial planning at the time, allowing me to help my mother while maintaining oversight of how my support was utilized. Now, those same access rights would reveal the systematic abuse of trust Harold had just admitted during our confrontational phone conversation. What Derek's investigation uncovered made my stomach drop with sick realization about the depths of their deception. My monthly $3,000 transfers had funded far more than basic household expenses Angela claimed were necessary for comfortable retirement living. Patricia's brand new Honda Pilot had been purchased with a down payment that exactly matched 3 consecutive months of my contributions. Private school tuition for Harold's 3 biological grandchildren totaled $18,000 annually. Money that came entirely from accounts receiving my monthly support. Multiple family vacations over the past 2 years coincided perfectly with my payment schedule. Yet Tyler had been excluded from every single trip despite my money funding the travel expenses. Derek found credit card statements revealing designer clothing purchases for Patricia's children, expensive gaming systems, and electronics Tyler was never allowed to touch, and restaurant bills from costly family dinners that happened on nights when Tyler stayed at my house rather than with Angela and Harold. Even home improvement projects like their new deck and outdoor kitchen had been funded by my contributions, while creating spaces where Tyler was made to feel unwelcome during family gatherings. The deck furniture cost over $4,000 and accommodated exactly 6 people a number that conveniently excluded Tyler from outdoor family meals and entertainment. Their outdoor kitchen featured a high-end grill and refrigerator that Harold used for hosting friends, while Tyler was specifically told not to touch anything during visits. The most disturbing discovery came through property records Derek accessed using his professional research credentials. Angela and Harold had been documenting my contributions as gifts rather than family support, meaning they owed no legal obligation to include Tyler in how that money benefited the household. To government agencies and any potential legal challenges, I was simply a generous son helping his mother, rather than a father paying for his child's inclusion in blended family arrangements. Derek's investigation revealed that Harold had been systematically misrepresenting our financial relationship to extended family members and community acquaintances. Harold told neighbors and friends that I was struggling financially and that he and Angela were generously supporting their needy son and grandson out of familial obligation. This narrative painted Harold as a successful provider, helping his struggling stepson, rather than revealing the truth that their comfortable lifestyle existed entirely because of my business success and monthly generosity. They had completely inverted our actual relationship to maintain social status while taking my money. Harold attended community events and business networking functions portraying himself as a retired executive supporting his family, rather than acknowledging his dependence on my contributions for maintaining their suburban lifestyle and social activities. The final devastating discovery came when Derek found recent legal documents establishing education funds for Harold's 3 biological grandchildren. These funds totaled $47,000 and specifically excluded Tyler by name in the legal documentation that established beneficiary rights. The timing and amounts corresponded exactly with my contributions over the past 18 months, proving that they had taken my money and used it to secure educational futures for children who shared Harold's blood, while explicitly ensuring Tyler would receive nothing despite being funded by his father's unwitting generosity. Derek printed comprehensive documentation showing the systematic conversion of my family support into discriminatory benefits that excluded Tyler while enriching Harold's biological family members. Bank transfers, credit card statements, property records, and legal documents told the complete story of financial abuse disguised as grateful family assistance. Every dollar I sent, believing I was building Tyler's security, had actually created a parallel family economy where his presence was tolerated, but his interests were never prioritized. I sat in my office conference room staring at spreadsheets and bank records that revealed 5 years of emotional manipulation funded by my own money. Tyler had been psychologically abused into believing he belonged in a family that systematically excluded him from experiences his father's generosity made possible. The Disney World exclusion wasn't an isolated incident, but rather the culmination of a pattern designed to remind Tyler of his inferior status, while extracting maximum financial benefit from his father's love. Harold's casual cruelty during our phone conversation now seemed like calculated honesty rather than emotional outburst. He had been planning this conversation for months, waiting for an exclusion so obvious that even I couldn't rationalize it away. Harold wanted me to understand Tyler's permanent place in their family hierarchy, while ensuring my financial contributions would continue under threat of complete exclusion from Angela's life. The documentation Derek assembled would become crucial evidence in the legal and financial reckoning that Harold's arrogance had made inevitable. His admission that my money didn't buy Tyler equal treatment was about to cost them everything they had built using that same money. Harold had no idea that his moment of brutal honesty had just triggered the most expensive conversation of his entitled life. I spent 3 careful days planning my approach before calling Angela to arrange what I described as a family meeting to discuss Tyler's upcoming 8th birthday celebration and future family planning. My strategy required professional witnesses and comprehensive documentation. So I asked Derek to accompany me as a financial advisor, reviewing family expenditures for tax planning purposes. Angela seemed genuinely delighted by this attention to Tyler's birthday and suggested we meet at their house Sunday afternoon, when Harold would be home from his weekly golf game with retired friends. Derek and I arrived with matching professional portfolios containing printed bank statements, transaction histories, property records, and legal documents organized chronologically to tell the complete story of financial abuse spanning 5 years. Angela greeted us warmly at their front door, offering coffee and homemade cookies, while commenting on how wonderful it was to see Nick taking such thorough interest in family financial planning for Tyler's future security. Harold emerged from their master bedroom wearing expensive golf attire that my money had purchased, extending his hand for confident masculine handshakes that demonstrated his assumption of continued authority over family decisions affecting Tyler. His relaxed demeanor suggested complete confidence that this meeting would affirm their established pattern of taking my money while maintaining control over how family benefits were distributed among children they considered worthy. I began our discussion with genuine gratitude for the role Angela and Harold played in Tyler's life, acknowledging their willingness to include him in their household activities, and expressing appreciation for the stability they provided during my difficult divorce proceedings 3 years earlier. This positive opening seemed to reinforce their expectations about continued financial support, while I prepared to reveal documentation that would shatter their comfortable assumptions completely. Derek professionally presented our financial analysis, spreading printed statements across their dining room table to show every monthly transfer alongside corresponding expenditures that systematically excluded Tyler from family activities funded by those exact contributions. Angela's face grew pale as the undeniable pattern emerged, while Harold maintained defensive composure, clearly recognizing that his honesty during our previous phone conversation had created this uncomfortable accounting of their discriminatory spending habits. I honestly never realized how the money was being allocated among different family activities, Angela whispered with apparent shock as Derek's research revealed the systematic exclusion his documentation proved. I love Tyler like my own biological grandson. This pattern wasn't intentional discrimination against Nick's son. Harold's immediate response revealed his true character and eliminated any doubt about his long-term intentions regarding Tyler's place in their family structure. Instead of acknowledging the obvious unfairness, Derek's evidence demonstrated Harold doubled down with aggressive justification that made his discriminatory attitudes absolutely clear to everyone present. Nick, you're being completely manipulative by tracking our household expenses like some kind of controlling accountant, auditing our personal spending decisions," Harold declared, while standing to pace their living room with agitated energy. "This is exactly how blended families work in the real world outside your idealistic expectations. Your monthly contributions don't automatically entitle Tyler to equal treatment with our biological grandchildren, because family loyalty isn't something money can purchase from people who understand actual blood relationships." Harold continued his defensive explanation with increasing aggression that revealed years of resentment about my financial support and expectations about Tyler's inclusion. "You're trying to buy your son a place in our family that he hasn't earned through genuine blood connections. Tyler gets plenty of benefits from living in a nice neighborhood when he visits, and having access to our swimming pool and game room equipment that your money helps maintain." The confrontation escalated dramatically when Patricia arrived unexpectedly with her 3 children returning from shopping for their upcoming spring break trip to Europe, another expensive family vacation funded partially by my contributions, while Tyler remained excluded from international travel opportunities. The children immediately began discussing designer luggage and luxury travel plans that my money was financing, while Tyler stayed home with babysitters during family adventures. Patricia's children excitedly displayed new clothes and travel accessories purchased for their European adventure, chattering about first-class flights and hotel accommodations that demonstrated the extraordinary expenses Harold was willing to incur for children who shared his biological connections. Their innocent enthusiasm provided perfect context for the financial abuse Derek's documentation had exposed, showing how my money enabled luxury experiences that deliberately excluded Tyler from family memories being created with his father's financial support. Tyler had been quietly building with blocks in the corner of their living room, but the raised adult voices and obvious tension drew his concerned attention. My heart broke, watching my 7-year-old son try to understand why everyone seemed angry, while adults argued about money and fairness and treatment he couldn't fully comprehend at his age. "Daddy, why is everyone mad about me costing too much money?" Tyler asked, with innocent directness that silenced the room completely and forced everyone to confront the cruelty of discussing his worth in financial terms. "Did I do something wrong that makes me too expensive for the family?" Patricia looked genuinely confused as she realized this meeting wasn't about birthday party planning, but rather a serious confrontation about financial arrangements she hadn't understood. Harold's defensive anger intensified as he felt cornered by documentation he couldn't dispute and challenged by professional witnesses he hadn't expected to face during what he assumed would be a routine family discussion. In his mounting frustration and desire to regain control of the conversation, Harold made a revelation that changed everything about our relationship and demonstrated the depths of his entitled expectations about my continued financial support, despite Tyler's systematic exclusion. Since we're apparently discussing complete financial transparency today, Nick, Angela, and I were actually planning to ask you for an additional $5,000 to help with an important family emergency that requires immediate attention," Harold announced with entitled confidence that shocked everyone present. "We found the perfect vacation property investment in Florida and need assistance with the down payment to secure this opportunity before someone else purchases it." Derek immediately requested specific details about this property purchase, while I struggled to process Harold's incredible audacity in requesting additional money after admitting that my current contributions funded systematic discrimination against Tyler. Harold proudly retrieved property documents he had already signed, eager to demonstrate the sophisticated real estate investment opportunity he expected me to help finance for their family's long-term benefit. The legal documents Harold presented revealed everything I needed to understand about their permanent intentions regarding Tyler's place in family planning. The property ownership structure explicitly listed Angela, Harold, and Patricia as authorized users with absolutely no provision for Nick or Tyler to ever access the vacation home they expected me to help purchase. They wanted my money to buy their exclusive family retreat, while ensuring my son would never benefit from the investment his father's generosity made possible. The Florida condominium deed included specific language restricting usage rights to immediate family members defined as Angela, Harold, Patricia, and Patricia's 3 children. Tyler was deliberately excluded by name from a property they expected his father to help finance, demonstrating that Harold's discriminatory treatment represented permanent family policy rather than temporary oversight that could be corrected through discussion and understanding. I departed their house maintaining professional composure, while my mind raced through legal and financial strategies to protect Tyler from continued emotional abuse, disguised as family inclusion. Derek and I spent the drive back to my office discussing immediate steps to document everything we had witnessed, while the confrontation remained fresh in our memories, and Harold's admissions were clearly recalled. The voice recording application on my smartphone had captured Harold's explicit statements about the vacation property and his unambiguous declarations about Tyler's permanently excluded status in their family hierarchy. Monday morning brought decisive action as I contacted Jennifer Walsh, the family law attorney who had skillfully handled my divorce proceedings 3 years earlier. Jennifer's expertise in family dynamics and child protection made her the ideal advocate for navigating the legal complexities of Tyler's situation. She reviewed Derek's comprehensive financial documentation alongside the property records Harold had inadvertently revealed during our Sunday confrontation, immediately recognizing the systematic pattern of emotional abuse disguised as family generosity. The deliberate exclusion you've documented could constitute psychological abuse in family court proceedings, Jennifer explained during our detailed consultation in her downtown office. Tyler's emotional well-being is being systematically damaged by calculated discrimination funded by his father's financial generosity. We need to establish clear, protective boundaries immediately and create documented evidence of the positive changes in his psychological health once he's removed from this toxic family environment. Jennifer also connected me with Dr. Sarah Martinez, a licensed family therapist specializing in blended family dynamics and childhood emotional development issues. Dr. Martinez had extensive experience treating children who suffered psychological damage from discriminatory treatment within family structures that appeared loving from external perspectives but created internal hierarchies that damaged young self-esteem and social development. Tyler has been experiencing systematic rejection disguised as conditional inclusion, Dr. Martinez explained after reviewing my detailed documentation of Tyler's treatment alongside recordings of Harold's explicit statements about blood family priorities. The financial dependency his grandparents maintain on you creates a particularly cruel dynamic where Tyler's presence is tolerated for economic reasons rather than genuine affection. This teaches children they must earn love through their parents' financial contributions rather than being valued for their inherent worth as human beings. Dr. Martinez recommended immediate removal from situations where Tyler witnessed preferential treatment of other children, while his own needs and interests were systematically ignored or minimized. She emphasized that continued exposure to Harold's discriminatory behavior would create lasting damage to Tyler's self-worth and ability to form healthy relationships throughout his adult life. While building comprehensive legal documentation with Jennifer's guidance, I simultaneously began implementing alternative support systems for Tyler that would rebuild his confidence independently of Angela and Harold's toxic family dynamics. I researched youth programs focused on technology education and athletic development, where Tyler could develop skills and friendships based on his own interests and personality, rather than family political considerations. The Coding Academy at our community college offered intensive summer programs for children Tyler's age, taught by high school students studying computer science and software development. The 6-week program cost $400, including materials and individual instruction money I could easily afford, by redirecting a small portion of what I had been sending Angela monthly. Tyler had always demonstrated natural curiosity about how video games and websites functioned, asking detailed questions about programming logic and interface design that revealed analytical thinking abilities. I also enrolled Tyler in a competitive youth basketball league through our city's recreation department, where team membership cost $60 and emphasized character development alongside athletic skill improvement. The program philosophy prioritized effort and teamwork over winning exactly the positive male mentorship Tyler needed after witnessing Harold's manipulative and entitled behavior patterns. These structured activities would provide Tyler with genuine accomplishment and social belonging based on his personal effort, rather than his family's financial arrangements. Throughout this process, I began discreetly documenting additional instances of Tyler's exclusion through careful record-keeping and legally permissible recording of conversations during family interactions. Jennifer advised that establishing a comprehensive pattern of discriminatory treatment would prove crucial if Angela and Harold attempted to retaliate against my financial boundary setting through grandparents' rights claims or interference with my established custody arrangements. However, Derek's continued investigation revealed that Harold had been actively spreading damaging rumors throughout our community that threatened both my professional reputation and my ability to maintain the client relationships that supported Tyler and me financially. Through mutual acquaintances at our country club and professional networking events, Harold had been systematically portraying himself and Angela as charitable grandparents, supporting their financially irresponsible son and his problematic child. These calculated lies had reached several colleagues in my consulting business through social connections I hadn't considered vulnerable to Harold's manipulation. Harold told other business owners that I was struggling with money management, and that he and Angela were helping me maintain my lifestyle while I learned to handle professional responsibilities more effectively. This false narrative contradicted my actual business success and threatened client confidence in my professional competence and reliability. The revelation that Harold was actively undermining my professional reputation while simultaneously taking my money represented a new level of betrayal that demanded immediate legal response. His interference threatened not only Tyler's emotional well-being, but also our financial security and my ability to continue supporting my son independently of their toxic and manipulative family dynamics. Jennifer advised that Harold's deliberate interference with my business relationships constituted harassment that could result in criminal charges if his behavior escalated further. She began preparing preliminary legal documents to establish a paper trail of Harold's vindictive actions, while we gathered evidence of the specific damage his lies had caused to my professional standing in our business community. Tyler remained unaware of the adult conflicts swirling around our family situation, but I noticed positive changes in his behavior and confidence as I began prioritizing his individual interests over maintaining artificial peace with Angela and Harold. He seemed more relaxed during our time together and less anxious about visiting his grandmother's house, perhaps sensing the reduced pressure from my own improved emotional state, as I stopped trying to force Tyler's acceptance in a family that would never value him appropriately. Monday morning delivered the most satisfying phone call of my adult life as I contacted First National Bank to permanently terminate all automatic transfers to Angela and Harold's multiple accounts. I spoke with Supervisor Margaret Chen, who confirmed that no future transfers would occur to their joint checking account, savings account, or the household expense account they had established when Angela moved in with Harold 5 years earlier. Margaret provided written documentation of these changes that I immediately forwarded to Jennifer for our expanding legal file. The next crucial step involved establishing Tyler's independent financial future through Edward Jones Investment Services, where financial advisor Robert Kim helped me structure a college savings account that would accumulate substantial value by the time Tyler reached higher education age. The monthly $3,000 I had been sending Angela would now grow through professionally managed mutual funds that historical performance suggested could provide Tyler with over $200,000 for college expenses, money that would belong exclusively to him rather than funding family activities designed to exclude him. Derek assisted with calculating the immediate impact my financial withdrawal would have on Angela and Harold's carefully structured lifestyle. Their mortgage payment of $2,200 monthly had been arranged around my contributions when they purchased their current house 4 years earlier. Combined car loans totaling $800 monthly for Harold's pickup truck and the Lexus SUV represented additional obligations they could meet only because my money covered their primary housing expenses and utilities. Credit card minimum payments exceeded $600 monthly for luxury purchases they had accumulated, assuming my financial support would continue indefinitely. Without my monthly contributions, their total obligations exceeded Harold's actual retirement income from his previous career in middle management by over $1,500 every month. Their comfortable suburban lifestyle had been constructed entirely on financial foundations they didn't control and had now forfeited through their discriminatory treatment of Tyler. I also contacted Preston Academy's business office to inform Administrator Linda Rodriguez that tuition payments for Harold's 3 biological grandchildren would cease immediately. Linda seemed confused by this sudden change, noting that Harold had been making regular payments for 2 academic years, while the children's actual parents had never been contacted about educational expenses or financial responsibilities. Mr. Harold has always handled these payments directly, and we assumed he was the primary financial supporter for these students, Linda explained during our phone conversation. The children's parents have never been involved in tuition discussions or payment arrangements. I clarified that Harold's payment capability had always depended on financial support from family members who were withdrawing assistance due to personal circumstances beyond Harold's control. Linda appreciated this transparency and agreed to contact Patricia directly about assuming responsibility for her children's educational expenses, beginning with the next semester. My investigation into Harold's Florida vacation property scheme revealed even more disturbing financial deception that bordered on criminal fraud. Harold had listed my monthly contributions as his personal retirement income on the mortgage application, completely misrepresenting my voluntary gifts as his own earned income to qualify for loan approval. This fraudulent documentation enabled him to secure financing he could never afford based on his actual financial resources. I contacted mortgage broker David Park, who had processed Harold's application, to inform him that Harold's stated income was based entirely on financial support that was ending immediately. David expressed serious concern about this misrepresentation and initiated a fraud investigation when I provided documentation proving that Harold's claimed earnings came from my voluntary contributions rather than his actual retirement benefits or investment returns. The mortgage company's fraud investigation threatened immediate loan cancellation and potential criminal charges for deliberately providing false income information on official lending documents. Harold's deception wasn't simply optimistic estimation, but rather calculated misrepresentation designed to secure financing he knew he couldn't afford without my continued support. Within 10 days of implementing my financial boundaries, the pressure on Angela and Harold became undeniably severe. Angela called me multiple times crying about unexpected bills and asking whether some mistake had occurred with our banking arrangements. Harold left increasingly aggressive voicemails demanding that I honor what he called our family obligations, and accusing me of abandoning my mother during her greatest time of need. Their credit card balances approached maximum limits as they struggled to maintain their established lifestyle without the financial cushion my monthly transfers had provided. Late payment fees and penalty charges compounded their growing debt crisis as bills accumulated faster than Harold's limited retirement income could address. The private school situation created additional family tension when Patricia received official notification that tuition payments had stopped and her children would be withdrawn from Preston Academy unless immediate arrangements were made with the actual parents rather than their grandfather. Patricia confronted Harold about financial arrangements. She hadn't understood creating explosive family conflict, as she realized her children's private education had been funded by money that rightfully belonged to Tyler's future, rather than her family's current lifestyle. Patricia's angry discovery that Harold had been using my money to pay for her children's education, while systematically excluding Tyler from family benefits, created the first serious crack in their united front against my boundary setting. She began questioning other financial arrangements and demanding transparency about how Harold had been managing what she now understood was Nick's generous support rather than Harold's personal wealth. But Harold's desperation pushed him beyond family conflict into territory that threatened my professional livelihood and constituted potential criminal behavior. Rather than accepting responsibility for their financial dependency and working toward sustainable solutions, Harold decided to attack my business directly through interference with client relationships that could destroy the income sources supporting Tyler and me. Harold's escalating vindictive behavior was about to cross legal lines that would transform our family dispute into criminal territory, where Jennifer's involvement would become absolutely essential for protecting both my business and Tyler's future security. Harold's interference with my professional relationships revealed the desperate depths of his character when faced with consequences for his discriminatory behavior toward Tyler. He systematically contacted my 3 largest consulting clients, falsely claiming that I owed him substantial money for childcare services and family support, while requesting that they redirect their payments to his personal account rather than paying me directly for legitimate professional services I had provided. Harold's lies to my clients included detailed fabrications about my supposed financial irresponsibility and claims that concerned family members were attempting to help me avoid bankruptcy by managing my income on my behalf. He presented himself as a responsible family financial manager, trying to protect my business relationships while ensuring that my obligations to elderly parents were met before I squandered money on personal expenses. Fortunately, my established client relationships and professional reputation provided protection against Harold's vindictive manipulation. Mark Thompson from Thompson Manufacturing called me directly after Harold approached him during a Chamber of Commerce networking lunch with his bizarre claims about having authority over my finances and business arrangements. "Nick, this strange situation occurred today, where an older man claiming to be your family financial manager approached me about redirecting your consulting payments," Mark explained during our phone conversation. "He insisted you were having serious money problems and that family members were trying to help you by managing your income. The entire conversation seemed completely inconsistent with your professional competence and our 3-year business relationship." Harold had made similar fraudulent contact with Peterson Engineering and Jennifer's law office, 2 other major clients who provided consistent monthly income essential for supporting Tyler and maintaining our financial independence. Both clients expressed genuine concern about Harold's interference while requesting clarification about my actual financial status and whether his claims had any legitimate basis in reality. Mark Thompson's detailed account revealed that Harold had prepared sophisticated lies designed to undermine my professional credibility while positioning himself as a concerned family member trying to help with my supposed financial crisis. Harold claimed that my divorce had created overwhelming debt problems and that my consulting business was failing due to poor money management and unreliable work performance. I immediately forwarded comprehensive evidence of Harold's business interference to Jennifer, who recognized this escalation as criminal harassment that violated multiple state laws governing commercial relationships and personal intimidation. Harold's attempts to redirect my earned income constituted attempted fraud, while his false statements about my financial condition represented potential defamation that could damage my professional reputation permanently. Jennifer prepared a formal cease and desist letter, demanding that Harold immediately stop all contact with my professional clients and threatening serious legal action if his harassment continued beyond this warning. The letter documented his false claims about my financial status and his fraudulent attempts to redirect business income that belonged to me rather than him or Angela. Jennifer also initiated preliminary paperwork for restraining order proceedings in case Harold's vindictive behavior escalated into more direct threats against Tyler's well-being or my personal safety. His willingness to interfere with my livelihood demonstrated dangerous disregard for boundaries that could easily extend to more serious harassment or intimidation tactics. The financial pressure on Angela and Harold intensified dramatically as their credit cards reached maximum limits and they began missing payments on major obligations for the first time in their marriage. Their mortgage company sent official default notices when they failed to make consecutive monthly payments. The Lexus dealership initiated repossession proceedings when car payments fell behind schedule, threatening to seize the vehicle that had become essential for Harold's social status and daily transportation. Late fees and penalty charges compounded their debt spiral exponentially as their inability to meet basic obligations created additional financial obligations they had even less capacity to address. Their credit scores plummeted as negative payment histories accumulated across multiple accounts, eliminating their ability to secure emergency loans or credit extensions that might have provided temporary relief. Patricia's anger toward her father escalated significantly as she realized the full scope of his financial deception and the impact his lies would have on her children's educational continuity. She had trusted Harold's claims about being financially capable of supporting her children's private school education, never understanding that their tuition was funded by money that could have secured Tyler's college future. Instead, Patricia faced the immediate choice between transferring her children to public school mid-semester or assuming educational expenses she couldn't afford on her salary as a dental hygienist. The private school's inflexible payment policies meant that partial payment arrangements weren't available, forcing difficult decisions about her children's academic continuity during an already stressful family crisis. Angela and Harold's marriage faced severe strain as the financial crisis exposed fundamental deceptions Harold had maintained about their economic security and long-term planning. Angela hadn't understood the extent of their dependency on my contributions or Harold's systematic lies about their financial position to mortgage companies, social acquaintances, and even Angela herself about their actual economic circumstances. Meanwhile, Tyler flourished in the coding academy and basketball programs I had enrolled him in, using money previously wasted on Angela and Harold's discriminatory lifestyle. Tyler's programming aptitude impressed his instructors, who noted his exceptional problem-solving skills and creative approach to software design challenges. His basketball coach praised Tyler's coachability and team leadership qualities that emerged when he felt valued for his individual contributions rather than tolerated for economic considerations. The stark contrast between Tyler's improved confidence and emotional well-being and the chaos consuming Angela and Harold's household provided clear evidence that removing him from their toxic environment had been absolutely the correct decision. Tyler stopped asking why other children received preferential treatment and began focusing enthusiastically on his own accomplishments and personal development goals. In a final desperate attempt to regain financial control over our family situation, Angela and Harold made a decision that would completely backfire and expose their manipulative character to legal scrutiny. They contacted family court to file for grandparents' rights over Tyler, claiming that I was deliberately alienating them from their beloved grandson, and that Tyler needed their stability and guidance for proper psychological development. Their petition included multiple false statements about their financial situation and their historical relationship with Tyler. They claimed they had been financially supporting me rather than receiving my monthly contributions, portraying themselves as generous grandparents being unfairly denied access to a grandchild they had always loved and supported. Harold even included character references from community acquaintances who had been misled about our actual family dynamics and financial arrangements. The grandparents' rights hearing became the courtroom vindication I never expected but desperately needed for Tyler's protection and our family's future security. Jennifer presented overwhelming documentation of Angela and Harold's systematic financial dependency, their calculated exclusion of Tyler from family activities, and Harold's vindictive harassment of my business relationships that threatened our economic stability. The comprehensive evidence painted an undeniable picture of emotional abuse disguised as conditional family inclusion and financial manipulation designed to prioritize Harold's biological grandchildren over Tyler's psychological well-being. Judge Patricia Williams carefully reviewed bank statements showing my monthly contributions alongside Harold and Angela's corresponding expenditures that systematically excluded Tyler from benefits those contributions directly funded. She examined the education funds established for Harold's biological grandchildren, using money I had provided specifically noting the legal language that excluded Tyler by name, despite being financed entirely by his father's unwitting generosity over 18 months. This court finds compelling and disturbing evidence of financial abuse and discriminatory treatment that directly contradicts the petitioner's claims of loving grandparent relationships with the minor child, Judge Williams stated, after reviewing our comprehensive documentation. The evidence demonstrates that Tyler was systematically excluded from family activities, while his father's substantial financial contributions funded preferential treatment for other grandchildren. This behavior pattern demonstrates unfitness for unsupervised grandparent access, rather than supporting any expansion of custody rights. Judge Williams also reviewed recordings of Harold's explicit statements about blood family priorities and his admission that my financial contributions didn't entitle Tyler to equal treatment with children who shared Harold's biological connections. These recorded admissions eliminated any possibility that their discriminatory behavior resulted from misunderstandings or innocent oversights, rather than calculated emotional manipulation designed to extract my financial support while minimizing Tyler's family status. Angela's emotional breakdown during testimony confirmed everything our documentation had proven, while eliminating any remaining doubt about the psychological damage Tyler had endured in their household. Through tears and obvious shame, Angela admitted they had been fundamentally wrong in their treatment of Tyler and acknowledged that my financial support had enabled their comfortable lifestyle while they systematically excluded my son from family benefits and experiences. I realize now how terrible we were to Tyler and how wrong our priorities became. Angela sobbed before Judge Williams, while Patricia and Harold sat in stunned silence. Nick has been incredibly generous to our family for years, and we used his money to hurt Tyler, instead of including him equally with our other grandchildren. I love my grandson, but I completely understand why Nick can't trust us anymore with Tyler's emotional well-being. Angela's testimony revealed that she hadn't fully understood Harold's systematic manipulation of family finances or his deliberate creation of a two-tier system that prioritized his biological grandchildren while tolerating Tyler as an economic necessity. Her genuine remorse contrasted sharply with Harold's continued defensive justification of his discriminatory behavior and entitled expectations about my financial support. Harold faced potential criminal charges when the court learned about his mortgage fraud and systematic interference with my business relationships. The prosecutor reviewed evidence of his false income statements to mortgage companies and his attempts to redirect my client payments through fraudulent claims about financial authority he didn't possess. Harold's vindictive behavior had escalated from family conflict into criminal territory that could result in felony charges and potential imprisonment. Judge Williams granted our request for supervised visitation only contingent upon Angela and Harold completing extensive family counseling and demonstrating genuine behavioral changes over a minimum 6-month probationary period. She also issued a protective order prohibiting any financial discussions or requests during supervised visits, protecting Tyler from further economic manipulation or emotional pressure about family relationships. The court's decision provided Tyler with legal protection while establishing clear consequences for Angela and Harold's discriminatory treatment. Judge Williams emphasized that grandparent rights existed to protect children's well-being, rather than enabling continued emotional abuse by relatives who prioritized some grandchildren over others based on biological relationships. 6 months following the court decision, Tyler had transformed into a confident, emotionally healthy child who thrived in activities chosen specifically for his interests and developmental needs, rather than family political considerations. His coding skills progressed remarkably under dedicated instruction, leading to his creation of simple games and interactive websites that impressed teachers and classmates with their creativity and technical sophistication. Tyler's basketball team won their division championship, with Tyler contributing crucial assists and defensive plays that coaches highlighted for demonstrating exceptional team spirit and strategic thinking abilities. His teammates elected Tyler as team captain for the following season, recognizing leadership qualities that flourished when he felt genuinely valued for his individual contributions rather than tolerated for economic reasons. The monthly $3,000 I had previously sent to Angela and Harold grew substantially in Tyler's professionally managed college fund, accumulating over $28,000 during 6 months of proper investment strategies. This money belonged entirely to Tyler's educational future, rather than funding family activities designed to exclude him from meaningful participation and emotional connection. Angela eventually divorced Harold after recognizing how his manipulative behavior and discriminatory attitudes had damaged her relationship with her son and grandson beyond immediate repair. She moved into a modest apartment and began working part-time at a local medical office to support herself independently without relying on anyone else's financial contributions or expecting continued support from family members. Angela's supervised visits with Tyler focused entirely on his individual interests and accomplishments, without discussing past family conflicts or financial arrangements. She demonstrated genuine effort to rebuild their relationship based on Tyler's needs and preferences, rather than adult expectations or obligations. Tyler enjoyed showing Angela his coding projects and basketball achievements, while maintaining appropriate emotional boundaries that protected his psychological well-being. Harold faced bankruptcy proceedings when his mortgage fraud investigation resulted in immediate loan cancellation and substantial criminal penalties. Unable to maintain payments on their house without my financial support or qualify for alternative financing due to his fraudulent application, Harold lost everything and eventually relocated to another state to escape continuing legal consequences and community awareness of his criminal behavior. Harold's departure eliminated the primary source of toxicity and discrimination from our family situation, while allowing Angela the opportunity to rebuild her relationship with Tyler based on genuine affection rather than financial arrangements or Harold's prejudiced attitudes about blood family priorities. Patricia initially struggled with her children's transition from prestigious private school to public education, but eventually discovered that this change benefited their character development and social awareness significantly. Without Harold's entitled influence and expectations about preferential treatment, Patricia's children learned to value educational opportunities and develop appreciation for achievements earned through personal effort rather than family financial advantages. Patricia also apologized to me privately for not recognizing how my generous financial contributions had funded her children's privileges, while Tyler was systematically excluded from equal family benefits. She expressed genuine remorse about the emotional damage Tyler had suffered and committed to ensuring her children understood the importance of treating all family members with equal respect, regardless of biological relationships. Tyler never asked about Harold after the court proceedings concluded, but he maintained cautiously positive contact with Angela during her supervised visits. Their relationship rebuilt gradually based on Angela's consistent demonstration of changed behavior and authentic interest in Tyler's activities, rather than family financial dynamics or adult conflicts about money and obligations. The most profound lesson that emerged from this painful experience involved recognizing that financial generosity without clear boundaries becomes enabling behavior that ultimately harms everyone involved, including the people receiving support. My attempts to purchase Tyler's acceptance in a loving family had actually funded his systematic exclusion and emotional abuse, while teaching him that love was contingent on economic contributions rather than inherent human worth. Tyler's remarkable improvement in confidence and emotional stability proved that protecting his dignity and psychological well-being was infinitely more valuable than maintaining artificial family peace built on financial dependency and discriminatory treatment. He learned that his personal value doesn't depend on others' approval or inclusion, but develops through his own character effort and genuine relationships with people who appreciate his individual qualities. I realized that my father would have been proud of the boundaries I established to protect Tyler from continued emotional manipulation and financial exploitation disguised as family love. Sometimes the most loving parental action requires saying no to people who claim they care while demonstrating through their behavior that economic benefits matter more than genuine relationships or children's emotional well-being. Tyler and I planned an incredible summer vacation to Washington, D.C. and New York City, using money that had previously subsidized Harold and Angela's comfortable lifestyle while funding Tyler's exclusion from family experiences. We visited Smithsonian museums, where Tyler marveled at technology exhibits and space exploration displays that inspired his growing interest in science and engineering careers. Our vacation represented far more than tourist entertainment or educational experiences. It symbolized complete freedom from toxic relationships and strategic investment in genuine experiences that built Tyler's confidence, curiosity, and excitement about exploring the world beyond our hometown's limited perspectives. Every dollar we spent on museums, restaurants, hotels, and Broadway shows belonged to our authentic relationship rather than funding other people's family activities that deliberately excluded Tyler's participation. Tyler told me during our flight home that he felt grateful we didn't have to pretend to be wanted in places where we weren't genuinely valued anymore. His 8-year-old wisdom reflected emotional maturity developed through surviving discrimination and learning that authentic relationships require mutual respect and inclusion rather than financial arrangements or economic obligations between family members. Our story concluded with Tyler and me building a life based on genuine love, mutual respect, and shared experiences rather than attempting to purchase acceptance from people who never valued us appropriately or understood our actual worth as individuals. The $3,000 monthly that had funded our emotional pain and systematic exclusion now grows into Tyler's educational future, while we create memories and opportunities that reflect our true potential and deserved happiness. Have you ever faced a situation where you had to choose between maintaining family peace and protecting your child's emotional well-being from relatives who claimed to love them? Sometimes the most difficult decisions lead to the most profound personal growth and authentic happiness for everyone involved. If this story resonated with your own family experiences or financial boundary challenges, please share your thoughts and similar situations in the comments below. Remember to like this video if it helped you think differently about family financial relationships, and the importance of protecting children from emotional manipulation. Subscribe for more stories about standing up for what's right, even when it requires difficult confrontations with family members. Share this with someone who might need to hear that protecting their child's dignity is always worth temporary family conflict and social pressure. Thank you for listening to our journey from financial manipulation to authentic family relationships. And I hope you find the courage to prioritize genuine love over artificial peace in your own family situations.